lot of people move to Minnesota, and the reality is a number of them a few years later quietly leave the state. And this usually happens not because something went wrong, not because Minnesota failed them. It usually happens because the reality of living here becomes more and more clear over time, more so than it ever could have from research, arbitrary rankings, things like that. So in this video today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and reveal 3 patterns I personally have seen time and time again from people from all kinds of places in all walks of life that cause people to pull up and leave, and why it has a lot more to do with understanding than it does disappointment. People come to Minnesota for solid reasons, and if you've done any research, you know Minnesota looks very good on paper. We've got a very robust job market. We've got a video on that. We do very well on the cost of living. We do great on education, infrastructure, and we do very well on quality of life rankings. We also have a video on that. So on paper, Minnesota makes a lot of sense. And in many cases, it works. But it doesn't always. Someone leaves later, that doesn't mean the move failed or a bad idea. It usually means there was a mismatch between what they were expecting and what they got. Because people leave cities all the time, they leave states all the time, and movement by itself is not a regret. So what's interesting to me and why I'm making this video is what I have seen in both my personal and professional life. Different people, different backgrounds, after a few years here, can come to very, very similar realizations. That's really what this video is about. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern. We're not judging decisions. We're not talking you in and out of anything. We are just going to explain what we've noticed, what I have noticed, and why it keeps happening, so you can avoid falling into that same trap.